Hello people, this is Mark from Kharischangeworks. I trust you all well. Let's continue this little Narc thing, hey? Let's see what else there is to say. The Narc, if they cannot get what they want, if they seem like they're losing a little bit of control, this whole little sub-series is all about what they will do to regain that status position, that focal point in society where they feel that it's all about them, and how they will manipulate and do things to remain in that optimal position of manipulation and bullying. Here's a few more little identifiers for you and me to know when we are dealing with a Narc by these little behavioral traits. So let's have a few more and let's see what they have to say. The Narc has got no sense of gratitude. Bloody hell, isn't that true? But rather, they think that you owe them gratitude. That is a very powerful statement, and I don't think that most people who've never been involved in the Narc world will appreciate the gravitas of that. The Narcs, as far as I am aware, and from my personal experience, think that the world owes them a living. It is because they are the Almighty. And not just the fact that they are the Almighty, but here's the thing. They're grateful for nothing. I think about my own, at this point, soon-to-be ex. Gratitude. This whole thing about being thankful. No. Leaving work to go and find her on a bridge. Leaving work to go visit her in hospital because the ambulance or the police have just picked her up from a bridge or in a field somewhere. At the cost eventually of me losing 2 jobs, both who I really liked and been incredibly successful in. All to do with her taking time off, cancelling incredibly important meetings and major events to go sit in a hospital waiting room for her to be pumped full of charcoal just to get that poison out of her body, to then be accused of not being supportive or encouraging. Really? Working at one point 16, 17, 18-hour shifts, to then be told you don't want to spend time with the kids, or you don't earn enough money for us to spend, when she was just sitting on her fat rump doing nothing. But when I wasn't at work on a day off, it was like, we haven't got enough money, so you better go out and work. Gratitude, as far as I'm concerned, is the bedrock of being human. A Narc isn't human. Because if they were, they would at least have the decency to acknowledge the efforts from others towards them. But there's none. Typical Narc. Another one. The Narc will not necessarily say, but they will certainly think and behave and give the impression that they're perfect. Because in their minds, they're the Almighty. And the reason why they think that is because it's all about them. That focal point, that spotlight deserving place in society. So they will then reinforce that by criticizing and belittling and degrading you and others, causing the outer circle to run riot whilst they just take it easy. As I've said in another video, they're the orchestrators of chaos. Because it's about them. And they're perfect. So they will do whatever they can to rally people around about them to do their dirty work. Because they're in the position of authority. So they don't say it so much. Just check their behavior. If we could tap into the mindset of a Narc, I wonder what part of the process we could tweak to distill that into something different, where they are actually part of society, but getting into the vapor of chaos is difficult. You must remember it's all about them getting the attention, them being in control. Always remember that. If you don't do as the Narc says, or as the Narc wants, be aware that they will do things to let you realize that you are a very lucky individual to have them in your life. Because if it wasn't for them, you wouldn't be who you are. Being associated with someone who is so high up in their organization, earning so much money a year, or have the influence of this, that and the other. Without them, you're nothing. Well, the truth is actually, without them, you are far more. So the idea behind them having that stranglehold as far as control goes socially, should you decide to abandon, then all of a sudden now it is, you might lose me. Believe me, losing a Narc in your life is a wonderful thing. So be mindful that when you start getting threatened, that you would lose who you are, or you hear other people say, I can't leave the relationship because I would lose my house, I'd lose the kids, I'd lose the dog, I'd lose the CDs, I'd lose the photos and the videos. Ding ding. You know what you're dealing with. And Narc thinks that they are above the rules. They're the Almighty, remember. So as soon as you bring them down that peg, it is to let them know that the rules apply to everybody. I've said to my soon-to-be ex at this point in time, there's one rule for one and another rule for someone else. If you do whatever you do and it applies, if I do this, oh, no, it doesn't apply. But if I do something that is wrong, then I'm wrong. But if I do something that is right, it's only because of them. Because they make the rules. And as my dad often says, they rule by fear. Because they've got no idea what love is. Where if you rule by love, then there's far more freedom. Where if you rule by fear, it is restricted. And by making the rules, it is easy to threaten you with the rules, with manipulation and bullying and all kinds of other narc tactics. Check them out in the playlist, they're there. For you to play their game. And remind you that you are subject to the rules, whilst they are the object of the rule. Listen carefully to how that was said. And the final one for this video is, don't acknowledge your feelings and emotions. In fact, the minute you display your emotions and your feelings and expresses them verbally, then you are a sissy. Like I said, toughen up princess is something that I was told regularly, because I was saying I couldn't cope with the pressure of dealing with a high pressure job, the kids, as well as someone that overdosed on average 19 times a week for many months. Toughen up, princess. You must be weak, not being able to cope with my chaotic lifestyle. So the minute you feel like you are being shamed and exposed for expressing feelings and emotions, and you are made to feel guilty because you recognize what you need, you're dealing with a narc. My encouragement is express them. And if you get ridiculed for having those feelings, if you are tied up in a relationship where you are bound by vows and a ring, I hear you. And if you're not, do something about it. Especially if you are in a relationship that is very fresh and young. Get out. Believe me, the noose only gets tighter. The anchor only gets heavier, because the ocean is incredibly deep. That's it for this particular video, and I hope it has highlighted something for you, because it is a very disastrous road to walk down, this one intertwined and intermingled with the narc. That's it. I hope it's caused you to think about you and others and how this might help you and them. Whatever it is, please comment in the comments box. Also, all the YouTube admin, please. For now, this is Mark from Kharischangeworks. I'll speak to you soon.